Hey, and welcome back to VFX Tutors. I'm Josh, and in this tutorial we're going to be continuing with our little robot project. So in our previous tutorial we made we did the look dev with our textures that we exported out, and we sort of got it to a place that we're kind of happy with. So we're kind of ready to move forward with this asset, and you don't have to rush it. If you're still doing texturing, that's fine. So in this one, we're going to be doing the rigging. So we're just going to prep it for rigging and just do some sort of sanity checks first, just so then we can sort of make our rigging process a lot easier and quicker. And we'll be mostly just making a manual rig. We won't be using any auto stuff, so you get an idea of joints and skinning and making controls and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope you've been enjoying this this series. It's a long one. It's probably our longest one so far, but it should be pretty cool once we've done it. And I really need to get out and actually film the stuff and get ready for all the other next stuff that needs to, because there's still actually quite a lot to do. But anyway, let's get going and open up our last scene. And thanks for watching. Okay, cool. So we're going to start with our rigging. It's not going to be a complex sort of rig. We're going to try and make it as simple as possible. So what I'm going to do is what we want to do first is start with going to rigging, and you can go to skeleton and create joints. I'm just going to make my grid there. I'm just going to make a single joint there. I'm just going to zero this out, and we're going to call this root, because that's going to be our main root controller. And we don't need to touch anything for now. So what we're going to do first is do the legs. So it's going to be a little bit simpler for rigging, but we do need to add some actual rotation locks in there, so we're not breaking anything in the rig. So what we will do first is let's hide everything that I don't need at the moment. I need the hips, need the right leg, need the right foot. Just so we can get it out of the way. Cool. So we need to be able to designate the center of these. And you might not have, like, yours might not already be kept to here. You might have like a, I don't know, maybe your pivot points there, or I can't remember, at some point we may have reset the transforms, so your pivot point might be down there. So I guess for this instance it's not such of a big deal, but just to make it easier, I'll show you how we can sort of like, because obviously now if we rotate that from there, it's going to break. So the simplest thing to do is press insert, hold V, and we can just snap it in 2 axes. So hold V and just try and get it in the center. See, that's not quite in the center there, so this is like the ultra basic way of doing it. There are probably better ways, and we will do the better way. So we've now got that in, and it's there. But say if your pivot point, let's just throw that out of the way, out there. I don't know why it'd be out there. For the best way to sort of reset your pivot point is to make a cluster. So what we can do is, if we isolate that there, so we just want the center of this, and obviously we can just snap it to there, but you may not have accurate geo there to snap to the center. You might have done something to it, but you could probably do that. But the other technique that I tend to use quite a lot, so all I've done is selected an edge loop, and you can go to deform and create a cluster. So cluster's created a cluster handle now that we can pin stuff to, and it does it to the center of your selection. So now we could go to our wireframe. This is kind of just a little tip that you can, let's bring that over to here so we can actually snap it. Hold V, snap it to our cluster. And that's in the center of that ring, although it's not in the center of here. We could have selected this edge loop, but it wouldn't have put it in the center. But cool, so you've got that. And let's try. And once you're done with the cluster handle, you can delete it. You can also select 2 edge loops on the side. This should work, and create it in the center as well. So you can do it that way. And if we go to our shading wireframe, insert V and snap, and it's not changed, so it's in the center. So it's just a quick sort of thing to show you how you can get stuff in the center. And now if we rotate that, it's pretty much perfect. These will become useful in a minute because we're going to make some clusters to snap our joints to make it, because our joints need to be where these are. So we'll just leave that cluster and we'll call that cluster handle knee. And this is just so it makes it easier for us to snap our joints to. No other reason. So we might as well just do the ankle here. Control 1. We'll do the same again. Select that edge on that edge and then go deform cluster. Now we can call that ankle. And you can snap it to here. It's just, for me, this is the quickest way I could probably think of doing it. I'm sure it's probably not there's probably a tool in Maya that I don't know about, and it's probably better. And we can do the same here. We could probably safely assume if we select that, that's going to go right up the middle. So it's worth double checking, but deform cluster. Hip, I guess. Cool, so we've made these 3 cluster handles. And you know what, I'm gonna duplicate that one and just pull it forward. Just for, you'll see in a minute. And we'll just call this toe. Even though we don't have toes, it's going to make just a little bit more complete. Cool. So now I'm just going to go to my panels orthographic and go side. Ooh. Panels orthographic side. If I move, what did I do there? Must have moved. It's a panels orthographic side again. Sorry. Cool. And now we can see that we've got our clusters in the center, and they'll shrink and grow from whatever size that we got. So don't worry about that. I'm just going to turn my grid off, and if I just go show and hide the polygons. What is that? That's a perspective camera. We can get rid of that. We can see we've got our root and we've got our joints. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go to my skeleton and create joints. If you hold V, it will snap to the first cluster. Then just keep holding V. And now we've made a joint hierarchy. So if you keep clicking, it will keep making them. So you have to press enter or just select on here. And now if we look on here, we've created a joint hierarchy. And we can go to our perspective. And now these are exactly in the position that we want. So if we brought back our polygons, not that we can see it, but they're directly in the inside. It doesn't matter because we're going to be skinning. We're going to be like solid skinning this anyway. So it'll be. You can use groups, but I might be wrong. But I think if you do use my groups and just do it that way, it doesn't pass off into other software. You kind of need to skin it. Feel free to say if I'm wrong there, but we're just going to go through skinning, because then if you're doing a different character, it'll be useful for you as well. So the first thing that I'm going to do is turn that off again. And I'm going to name my joints. Hip joint. Knee joint. Also, I need to make sure that I am right hip joint. Ankle, and we might not even need this. Right toe joint. Ooh. And I haven't done rigging, and I don't do rigging every day. I'm just doing what I can kind of remember. So it's just going to be a kind of a basic over sort of thing. Overview. So we've done that. And we've got, if we just select ER, we can see it's all moving. And we can select each one. And it appears, if we go to our, well, let's just say we're on world. If you're on world, it appears to be working. But if we're on our object, you can see that our local rotations are actually different. It's quite annoying. I don't know why. It would be nice if you're in an orthographic view to just always know. So what we need to do, we need to select. So if we did select all our joints and we're on object, that's obviously not rotating in a fashion that we want. Effectively, yeah, basically that's bad, because that's not rotating in a sensible way. And when we get to, when I show you what a sensible way looks like, you'll understand. Cool. So I'm just going to undo that. So what you also want to do when you're doing rigging, you want to have your display transform to stay in your local rotation axis on. Now you can sort of see where we're going wrong. So if we select this top bone, our z-axis is pointing forward, and our x-axis is following the bone down, and our y-axis is going off to the right. And even though our bone is still following the x-axis down, it is not actually aligned. So what we need to do, if we select all our joints, press Shift P, we'll remove those joints. So usually they come out of a group. When you do that, they come out in a proper angle, but I don't know why it's done that. Anyway, let's go to our orthographic side so we can see it a bit clearer. Cool. So this one's, we can just go, we say, let's rotate this 90 degrees and say that our Z's forward, our Z is going left, our X is down, our Y is forward. And freeze the transforms on that. So we need to make sure that this is, and like you could effectively do this, but I'm not sure how accurate you could get it. So what we can do is, if we select that one, then that one, hopefully we can go constrain, orient. And now that's going to orientate it exactly to that. Then if we remove the constraint, freeze the transforms. That now is exactly orientated to that. So if we look at this, we don't want to, and we could effectively do the same here. So, but we don't really want to. So if we did a constraint and orient, yeah, that looks like it's going correct. Like it's going down and it's following. And we've got it in the same axis. But the problem is our next bone is here. So in theory, actually, this, if we freeze the transforms now, we can rotate this up in the Z 90 degrees. Freeze the transforms. So now if we look, our X is going down, down, hits here and it goes forward. That's the kind of the way we want it. And our Y is now on the flat pointing up, and our Z is still facing that way. So now if we select this one, then that one, we can go constrain, orient, wrong way around. Sorry. Oh, I've done this so many times, I always forget. So I'm just going to go orient. And now that's facing the same way. So it's, you got to see it as it's like a path, like edge flow almost, I guess. So what we need to do now is select our knee joint, then our hip joint, and press P. And this will now reparent and bring our bone back. So I'm going to do my ankle joint to my knee joint, press P. Open up the hierarchy, select my toe joint and ankle joint and press P. And now you can see all our rotations, our orients are in the correct way. And I said I'd show you what it kind of looks like, hopefully it should. If I now rotate this now, you see how they're all rotating on the same axis. And it looks like it's useful. And basically, it's kind of everyone is rotating on the same axis, basically. So if we did do it that way, it sort of all works as well. And that's what you want, because that's going to work with your IKs and stuff like that, and it means that your stuff's going to work. So I'll go back to my perspective. And go to my polygons. So I'm going to have to figure out how to might not actually skinning it might be different, because actually we've got to lock, or thinking about it, because we've got to lock this. We can't have this going well, I guess it could. That goes in that axis. I think it's mostly the arm. That's because we don't want this to go that way, basically. That's going to be coming from this. So I'm going to have a think about it. I think we're just going to have to actually not skin it and just group it under, just so we can lock stuff off. I'm going to have to figure it out as I go along. I'm not 100% certain on this. I haven't done this in a while. But anyway, we've done one leg, and we can mirror the stuff off at the end. So in the next one, we'll just go on to doing the rest of the body. It's pretty simple. We'll probably just do the bones from where the sort of hips and stuff go up. So yeah, I'm going to keep it quick and easy, even though it's been 20 minutes, but hopefully you've learned some pretty useful techniques in there and some pretty key fundamentals of rigging. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this tutorial, hit that like button and subscribe for more like this.